Previously on Professor Thorgi Reviews. While making his annual Worst Movies of the Year list, Aaron inadvertently unleashed the evil that was Jim and the Holograms. Now, in order to return it to obscurity where it can no longer harm anyone, Aaron must review this movie in depth. Will he survive, or will the monster that is Jim and the Holograms blow up in his face like the veritable bomb it is?
Okay, if you've watched my channel, then you know that I have something of a personal history with this Jim and the Holograms movie. I'm not even a fan of the show, so I should have no dog in this fight. But when I saw that first trailer for this movie, it looked so dumb and so insulting to geeks everywhere, especially to all my Jim brothers and sisters out there, that I went on a massive rant about it. And then the second trailer came out, and it looked even dumber, so I went on another rant about that. And then it did so poorly at the box office that I had to make another video talking about that. Like I said, I have no personal connection to this franchise at all, and yet I've talked about it so much, it's kind of become a running theme on this channel. So, even though I tried to run from it, I knew it would always come to this. I knew it was my destiny. I knew that one day I would have to face this movie, one-on-one in a review. Let's do it. But before I get into it, I'm gonna need some help. I'm gonna need to prepare myself mentally for something this bad. That's the worst tasting beer I've ever had. Still doesn't taste as bad as this movie does. Alright, let's do it. Okay, now normally in my reviews, I would start off with a short summation about what the plot is, just enough to let you know what the movie is about, but not enough to spoil anything. But do any of you actually care about spoilers for this dumb film? No? Didn't think so. And let's be honest, none of you actually saw this thing, okay? So I'm going to go and tell you everything that happens in this movie, beat by beat, scene by scene, and yes, it is exactly as dumb as what I am about to describe. Now, this movie starts off with Jerrica and Kimber, two sisters who, after losing their father, are raised by their aunt along with her two foster children. And that's all you need to know about them because the movie doesn't once focus on them for a second. These are the most supporting of supporting characters I have ever seen in a movie. Jim's wig in this film does more than either of them do, alright? And by the way, I just want to make this clear right now. Any and all insults or complaints that I have about these characters are based on the film itself. It is aimed solely at the directing, at the writing, at the production of this movie. It is in no way meant to be an insult at the actresses who played these characters. I'm sure they're all fine. I could see pretty much everyone in this movie going on to do better things, and considering where they started, they kind of have to. Everybody in this film does the best with what they're given, but what they're given is a black hole that sucks all potential out of it. So again, insulting the film, not the people in it. Just want to make that clear. So anyway, back to this movie. Jerrica and Kimber live in this house, and Jerrica is incredibly shy, but Kimber is one of these people who videotapes everything and likes to share it with everyone all over the web. So Jerrica, one night to try and get over her shyness, takes Kimber's camera into her closet and videotapes herself singing with a wig on using the name Jim. But she decides, oh, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. I can't share that with anyone. So she asks Kimber to delete the footage for her, and Kimber, being the good sister that she is, decides to upload onto the internet for everyone to see. Now, don't get me wrong, I can understand Kimber going, well, she needs to get over her shyness, so I'm going to just put it out there, kind of like teaching someone to swim by throwing them into the pool. By the way, I don't think that actually works. Don't actually do that with people. But I can kind of understand her doing that, But here's the thing, she doesn't even check what's on the camera before she uploads it. She doesn't know what Jerrica did on that thing. She could have like broken down and started crying and just talking about really personal stuff on that videotape, and Kimber was just like, no, I'm sure this is all good, I'm just going to upload it right away. So the next morning they wake up to discover that this video has exploded in popularity, and this was the first sign that this movie didn't know what the hell it was doing. Because when we all saw that trailer, it showed that she got millions of hits overnight. And pretty much everyone in unison said, that can never happen. Do you know how far you have to go for people to not be willing to suspend their disbelief at a movie? People will believe that giant green radiated monsters are fighting alongside mythical Norse gods in a film. But getting a million hits overnight, there is no way that's happening from someone no one has heard of. Now, I didn't see this in theaters because it was only out for 2 weeks, but I listened to lots of critics, and all the critics who saw this made it a point to bring this up. That in the theatrical release of this film, they changed that to being only 30,000 hits. Okay, here's the thing. 30,000 hits, way to go. Good job. You should be proud of that. That is indeed an achievement. Way to go. A national success story that's on the news? I follow people on YouTube who get 30,000 hits an hour, and the news doesn't give a crap about them. The news has never heard of these people. So 30,000 views, no one would be talking about that. You might see in a tweet someone going, oh hey, if you check this out, that's what 30,000 views would get you, okay? Now I mention this because when I watched this, I watched it on video on demand. And on video on demand, they never once bring up how many views she got. It is never once mentioned. I saw this with my girlfriend, and after the scene happened, I turned to her and went, did they just skim over how many hits she got? And towards the end of the movie, I kept watching this thing like, they're gonna have to mention it at some point in time. I know it's coming. Everyone made a point to bring this up. They never once say. They never once say how many hits she got. That to me is just a pure sign of the theater coming in and going, we don't know, alright, just put it out there, alright, we're tired of this argument. Now at this point, Juliette Lewis's character, Erica Raymond, is introduced, and she is just the worst, just terrible. Not Juliette Lewis. She's doing the best with what she can. She is in fact doing a pretty decent job with this terrible, flat, one-dimensional villain, one of the worst I've seen in years. Oh, it's such a badly written character. But anyway, she's introduced, and she wants to sign Jerrica to a contract. But Jerrica doesn't want to do it. But her aunt is going to lose the house unless they can bring in some money. Which brings me back to that trailer. Again, I know that they changed this for the theatrical release, but this is what it was going to originally be, and this is a massive gaping plot hole that I have to bring up. In that trailer, when she was getting millions of views, the entire reason why Jerrica goes off and signs up with this terrible, horrible villain is so that she can make money. If she was bringing in millions of hits, don't get me wrong, YouTube doesn't pay much. It doesn't pay for squat. But it does indeed pay some money, and if you made 1 million views overnight, just go in there, hit the monetize button, your money problems would be solved by the end of the month. Just put out a few more songs, bam, done, you're good. So Jerrica decides to sign up because they really need the money, and Erica tells her that she won't be paid until after all of her tour dates are done, which is long after the house would have been foreclosed upon anyways. This is the dumbest contract of all time. Seriously, you sign up with this person, and she gets all your songs, your likeness, this persona you created, and you don't get anything until after all the work has been done? This is the most insane thing ever. This is how that contract negotiation would have gone down with anybody with any speck of self-respect. Well, this all seems to be in order, except for this one part where it says that I won't make any money off you. Are you for real? Seriously? I'm Jim, damn it. Who the are you? I'm on the news right now. I got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson endorsing me right now. I kick you out of here, I've got 10 more record execs coming by my door in the next hour. Or maybe I'll just skip all you bloodsuckers and post this on iTunes myself and make a mint without you taking 60% of it. Get the hell out of my house. That's how that negotiation should have gone. Instead, Jerrica just says, okay, but only if my sisters can be in the band with me. Erica says no, but Jerica says, well, this is non-negotiable. Oh, now you learn how to negotiate. Saving your aunt's house. Oh, okay, just let me sign whatever, I don't care. Letting you and your sisters play dress up together? Oh no, that's a must. So they move into this big fancy hotel, which is not a hotel, it's just a house that the studio had available, and that couldn't be more obvious. But they move in there with Rico, who's the son of Erica, and he doesn't like the way his mom is running this company. He wants to take the company back and run it in the right direction and treat the artists with respect and dignity and pay them, you know, weird, crazy ideas. You already know how this movie's going to end, don't you? Now, for the time being, I'm going to skip over the fact that Rico is supposed to be 20, and instead he's being played by somebody who's, well, my age.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
Because what is coming up is perhaps the dumbest thing in this entire film. Not even perhaps. It's definitely the dumbest thing in this film, because as I was watching this movie, sure, I wasn't liking it. I thought it was dull. I thought it was being written poorly, but I didn't think it was terrible. I wasn't groaning at every single scene. However, what is coming up is so bad, it turned this film from cheesy movie of the week to a bobsled ride down a garbage chute.
You said your dad's inventions didn't work. Oh my god.
I waive my right to criticize the tiny robot in this film until the end of this review, because if I stopped to criticize it every time it popped up and did something stupid or contributed a terrible turn of events to the plot, then I'd be here all day. So for now, let us move along. Now, this tiny robot is called Synergy, and it's an advanced AI unit that Jerica's father was working on before he died, and rather than finishing it and selling it for a fortune so that his daughters could be left with something, he instead decided to take it apart and scatter the pieces of it all across California. Again, waiting until the end of this review. So they find the first piece of Synergy at this old amusement park that Jerica's father used to take her to when she was a kid, which, okay, that's a fine place for the plot to go, I guess. Although, wasn't this about a band 5 minutes ago? What the hell is going on? Anyway, Rico meets them there at the park, and he has a discussion with them about where he wants to take the company.
You know, if it back to actual artists, you know, real musicians with something to say. Instead, my mom wastes her time on no-talent Pop-Tarts with all flash, no substance. You couldn't sing without autotune if their lives depended on it.
Yeah, like that. Seriously, I'm not trying to insult anybody here because they are in fact fairly talented singers. They're perfectly fine singers, nothing wrong with them at all. However, where the hell do you get off coming in and insulting pop top 40 music and then going, yeah, now here's the real music, and then providing us with something that's exactly like, if not maybe a little bit worse, than the music you just ripped on? So from there, Jim and her band performed their very first live show, and is a big, glorious event, truly fitting of the next big superstars. At least, that's what I'm sure the writers thought it was going to be. Instead, they perform in this tiny rinky-dink club that is roughly the size of a studio apartment, and the cameraman never shows more than one row of the audience at a time, because if they did, you'd realize there's only about 20 people there in this audience. Not to hammer this home, but Erica, the head of this big, successful record label, is awful. Not only did she take everything from these kids without them even reading the contract apparently, and is refusing to pay them, but she's just bad at her job. She has the biggest stars on the net, and all she can book them at is what is basically the equivalent of a junior high prom. If that's the best she can do, then Jerica and her sisters would be so much more successful on their own, just releasing their own music and booking themselves at clubs. So anyway, they're performing at this club, and then suddenly the power goes out. Clearly the sign of an upstanding venue that is meant to hold live performances. But Jim decides that she is going to play some music for the audience, acoustic style, so she runs into the back to grab just a random guitar from a wall of random guitars. And what does she find in this random guitar? Another piece of Synergy. Again, I will get back to this later. So the concert is a big success, but Jerrica's aunt is still about to lose the house. So Jerrica asks Erica if she can have an advance on their pay, something that literally any other agent would have done in order to hold on to their property. But Erica instead tells Jerrica that she will only give her the advance if she signs a solo contract. Jerrica doesn't want to do this, and again, literally anybody else could have negotiated their way out of this, but Erica tells Jerrica, and yes, this is getting hard to say, Erica tells Jerrica that she can make anyone Jim. That Jim is just a name and they own that name now. So they can come in and they can put anybody else in that wig. They can have them sing those songs and anyone could be it. So Jerrica could get kicked to the curb if she doesn't sign this, and then her aunt would be out and have no house and everything would be bad. Oh my God. So Jerrica decides she's going to sign the solo contract, and I'm kidding you not, she signs it as Jim. She does not put down her real name, literally 2 seconds after the scene in which Erica says, oh yeah, anybody can be Jim. It doesn't have to be you. She then signs the contract J-E-M. There is zero way that would hold up in court. You could take the money from that advance, pay off the house, and then just leave with your sisters to start your own band. And then Erica could come in and go, hey, you can't leave, we have a contract. And then she just points at the contract and goes, oh, that's not me. That could be anybody. That's what you said, isn't it? It's just a name that you own that anybody could have signed, not me, and no one could have stopped it. This is such a massive plot hole that I was convinced it had to be the twist at the end of the movie. I was convinced that's how this movie had to have ended, because otherwise it would have made no sense. Guess what? It didn't end that way. It made no sense. So then Jim's sisters find out that she's going solo and they flip. In fact, Aja says something that is so dumb I had to write it down. She says, quote, "We supported you." When? When exactly did you support her? Was it when you didn't write the song that made you famous? Was it when you didn't sing the song that made you famous? Was it when the record label did not want you and then Jerrica had to fight to get you on the label? This character contributes nothing to this film. In fact, none of the sisters contribute anything to this film. They're all complete afterthoughts of no importance. Here is how little the people writing this thing thought about these sisters. In the beginning, when we see Aja's room, we see drumsticks in there. Then when they're at the beach, Aja pulls out a piece of board and starts drumming on it. What instrument does she play in the band? Bass! At least I kind of remember Aja. The other foster sister? I don't remember anything about her. She literally did nothing in this film. I don't even feel like they should list her character's name in the credits. It should just say the other sister in those end credits, because that's how little thought went into her. And you want to make me feel like this is a betrayal of these characters when she did this to save the house that you all grew up in? The house of the aunt who raised you all? Forgetting to water a houseplant is more of a betrayal than what Jerrica did in this movie. So that's the big crisis of the movie. The team is finally broken up. They don't trust each other anymore, and they'll never be back together ever again. 2 minutes later. Hey, guess what, everybody? The team got back together because they love each other or something, I guess. I don't know, it's not really explained. But anyway, they get back together and they decide that they are going to break into Erica's office because Erica has the final piece of synergy. It was in Jerrica's earrings, which Erica asked to hold on to at the beginning of the movie. Now, the only logical way to get these earrings back is for Jerrica to just wait until the next morning when Erica is there, go into the office, and she's totally allowed to still go into the office, go in there and just say, oh hey, you remember those earrings you asked to hold on to? Can I get those back right now since they are my property? Cool, thanks. Or you could stage an elaborate breaking and entering scene and try and sneak in. Guess which one they do? So they break into Erica's office, and in there they discover Erica's late husband's will. And in the will, it says that Rico can take over the company business whenever he feels like it. Whenever he feels that he is ready to. Has anyone working on this movie ever actually seen a legal document? Because literally every will and contract in this movie feels almost like what a child thinks a legal document is. But none of that matters now, because with the final piece, synergy is now complete. It's at its full potential, meaning I can now finally talk about it. This robot is insane. First off, not only could it not be more of an obvious ripoff of BB-8 that they were trying to get out there and in stores before Star Wars hit, but also, it feels like they just grabbed something from the Star Wars universe and plucked it right down into the real world. Because this is supposed to be the real world adaptation of Jem and the Holograms, and that's why they didn't want to have a big living computer with a humanoid AI program, because that would be silly. No, instead they create an artificial intelligent beatboxing paperweight that is capable of projecting real three-dimensional holograms. When I saw this in the trailer, I thought, that's nothing special. All it does is just show a light show onto the wall. We have stuff like that now. This big invention of yours was something people have already made. And yet, when I saw it in this movie, just like with those YouTube numbers, they decided to spin it back around the opposite direction so far, it became even crazier. Because the holograms that this thing can project out are things they don't even have in Star Wars. It's beyond that. This is some of the most advanced AI holographic programs I've ever seen, and it's existing in this real world? And what did their father decide to do with this technology that was literally decades ahead of its time? Did he decide to sell it and make millions off of it so that way he could, I don't know, treat his disease and hopefully live longer to take care of his daughters? Or did he sell it to make millions so that way when he passed away, his daughters would have something there for them, something to keep them safe, some money to fall back on? No, he decided to keep it from being completed on purpose so that he could sprinkle the pieces around to give his daughters a scavenger hunt. All so that at the end, they could see a special message for them. Oh, I'm sorry, I've been saying for them. For Jerrica, because Kimber gets no love from their dad. Every message from their dad is, Jerrica, you are the most special thing that has ever been in my life. You are so important to me. What, Kimber? Oh, Kimber's fine. You know, Kimber's a good kid. She'll be all right. But Jerrica, you are my greatest creation in life. And you might be thinking, yeah, well, that's kind of sweet. No, it's dumb. Seriously, let me remind you that his daughters would have gone homeless if they didn't just happen to luck out into being superstars. He wanted them to have a scavenger hunt rather than a roof over their head. And this scavenger hunt is so dumb. So dumb. This scavenger hunt makes no sense. The first piece at the amusement park they always used to go to, alright, sure, that makes sense. The last piece in her earrings, alright, seems like a weird place to put, but she always had them on her. She probably would have figured it out. The second piece in that random guitar, he says he hid it in that guitar because he always wanted to take her to that club. Not they used to go there all the time. No, he always wanted to do it one day in the future if he had survived. How the was she supposed to know that you were going to put that piece there? She had no idea that you were planning this. She just lucked into it. And let's say that somehow, scrolling through all your journals or something, she had figured out that you had put it there. Did you put it in some place special that would be there forever? No! You hid it in a random guitar. A guitar that could have been moved to another location. A guitar that could have been sold to someone else. This made no sense. It could not be more obvious that the writer of this was told at the last second, there were supposed to be 3 pieces instead of just 2. I don't know where to put it. Just put it in that guitar. There we go. Bam. Done. Why did he put it there? He wanted to take her there, I guess. I don't know. Does anyone even care at this point? There were zero given about explaining the plot of this film. I put more thought into explaining how there was no thought than they actually put into this movie. So the whole movie ends with Rico taking over the company because he wants to, because that's how legally binding contracts work. They fire Erica, Jem and her sisters perform, and everyone is happy, and the movie ends with a collection of YouTubers talking about how much they love Jem. And I don't mean actors playing YouTubers. No, I didn't know this until after I saw it, but apparently there was a contest to be in the Jim movie, and what you had to do is you had to get on YouTube and talk about how much you love Jim and what Jim means to you, and then they would take the winners and they would actually put them in the movie here at the end talking about how great Jim is. And here's what's so frustrating about that is that these people are talking about the old Jim cartoon show, but they put it in here like they're talking about the band in the movie, and they're not even clever about it because there are literally people, even the day after her first concert, wearing a Jim and the Holograms t-shirt from the old 80s cartoon show. There are tons of people wearing Jim merchandise. There's one guy talking about how much he loves Jim while the Jim cartoon is playing on TV behind them. They didn't even think about how they could possibly add this. They just put it up there, and I have tried to imagine what possible universe this could exist in, and it just makes no sense. The only way I can figure it is that these are clips from years in the future after Jerrica sold the rights for Jim to a cartoon company that decided to animate them like they were set 3 decades ago. And that's the best explanation you can come up with to explain this film. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. But I could let that go because if they didn't think about anything else in this movie, why would they have thought about this? But here is the thing that makes this so offensive. Here's the thing that makes this movie go from bad to worse. Here's the thing that makes me, someone who is not even a Jim fan, look at this film and go, that is downright despicable. It's because I'm a geek. And even if I'm not a Jim fan, I understand Jim fans because when you're a geek, it means that there's something out there in the world of pop culture that was special to you. It spoke to you. It was there for you at a time in your life when you needed it and provided you with characters and stories and drama and comedy at the time when you needed it, and it touched you someplace deep down. It could have been a book, it could have been a movie, it could have been a TV show, a cartoon, a comic book, a video game. Something was there for you, and it helped to mold you into the person that you are today. And these people are Jim and the Holograms fans. They are here giving personal stories, talking in depth about how much it meant to them, how much it touched them, and how much it helped them when they really needed it. And they took these people and they put them in this film talking about this fake band that is a total bastardization of that thing that they loved and framed it like they were praising it. It framed these people talking about this film that wrecked that thing that they cared so much about and made it look like they were praising it. And it didn't just wreck this franchise, it spat in the face of all those fans because it took that thing that they loved and said, no, that's lame. We're going to make it real world because that's silly, that thing you love. And then it made them compliment and stepped in and went, you're welcome. And that is the biggest crime of this movie. The sheer arrogance behind it. Because most other terrible adaptations know what they are. Transformers is a bad adaptation of that franchise, but it knows what it is. It knows it's just a dumb robot slugfest. And Fantastic Four was a terrible adaptation of that franchise. But at the same time, the producers on that film, they knew it wasn't gonna be good. They knew it was just a cash grab. They weren't trying to make a good adaptation. But Jim and the Holograms, this film is just dripping with arrogance. Everything from the way that they badmouth other music and then produce music that is exactly the same, to these YouTube confessions, to forcing celebrities to come in and talk about how much they love this music. Everything in here just reeks of a boardroom that did not understand this property, taking control of it and saying, oh, we know exactly what all the kids want out there. We're gonna take this and make it the biggest hit of the year. Just you wait and see. This is gonna be the franchise to watch. We're gonna do it right because we know what we're doing. Oh, by the way, don't spend more than $5 million on this. We know that with Transformers and all that, we spend hundreds of millions, but don't spend more than $5 million simply because we know what we're doing, so we don't have to spend more than $5 million. Just watch all the profits we're gonna bring in on this baby. And the cherry on top of this arrogance cake is just how lazy they were about it. This film did not even start off as a Jim and the Holograms film. It started off as a film called Famous, which was going to be about becoming famous on YouTube. In fact, there are clips all throughout this of YouTubers beatboxing and singing in here in order to provide backup music that cuts back and forth between, and that was clearly left over from the original script of this film. But when they forced Jim and the Holograms into this, they didn't take it out, even though it made no sense to this movie, simply because they're like, screw it, we already found the clips, who cares? they were that lazy about, and they still thought that stores everywhere were going to be going nuts for gym, that gym merchandise was going to be all across this planet. This movie is the equivalent of that kid who sat in class, never did any work, never studied, never even bothered to do homework, and yet he still just sat there with a shit-eating grin on his face the entire time, but then when he got an F, he threw a giant fit and didn't understand why. This movie is taking that thing that was special to you, that meant something to you, and calling it childish and stupid, and then expecting you to thank them when they come in and wreck it. And you might be saying to yourself, hey Aaron, you said you're not a gym fan. How do you know that's how you felt? Well, first off, I asked one. Hey Michelle, how did this movie make you feel?
Angry. Angry and tired.
Thank you, but also because I'm a geek. And like all those gym fans out there, I too know what it feels like to have something that I loved and meant a lot to me completely destroyed by a group of people who didn't understand it and then expected it to be brilliant. And yet, even I will admit that all of those pale in comparison to how epically they screwed this one up. This is hands down one of the worst adaptations I've ever seen. I have tried to think of something I can compliment this film on, and literally the only thing I have come up with is that all of the actors and actresses in it seem like they would be good in something else. Seem like if they continued to get work in other films that were directed and written well, then it seems like they would be good in it. That is literally the only good thing I can say about this film, is that the talent is not to blame. Okay, time for my rating, and a miss isn't going to cut it. No. I unleashed this ancient evil and I have to put it back, but just giving this film a miss isn't going to cut it. For a film like this, I have to create a brand new rating, one lower than miss. And for a film like this, I have to give it exactly what it gave me. So my rating for this movie is...
Profound sadness.
Okay, I've given the film its rating, so I can once again return it to obscurity where it will never hurt anyone again. Why isn't anything happening? No, seriously, I reviewed the movie. Something should be happening now. It should go away. Why isn't it going away? Unless... Oh god, no. No. I know that they were arrogant, but even they couldn't have been this arrogant. Even they, somewhere in the back of their screwed up minds, must have known that this film wouldn't... Oh god, it is.
Our songs are better. We're gonna get her.
They did it. They put in a post-credit scene. A post-credit scene that introduced the Misfits with Kesha as Pizzazz. They didn't just slap this together. They got a celebrity to come in for this. They thought this was going to be a trilogy. They were trying to set up some Avengers stuff right here. I knew they were arrogant, but I had no idea. I mean, even Fantastic Four knew better than to put in a post-credit scene. I don't think I can stop this one. I'm going to need help. If I'm going to take this movie out and return it to obscurity, I'm going to need help from someone who's banished demons far greater than this. Someone who has gone up against evils far more sinister than this movie.
Hey, thank you everybody for watching today's episode, and a special thank you to InBear76 on Twitter who requested that I review Jim and the Holograms. I got a lot of requests to review this one, but he probably requested it the most, so a special shout out to him. Remember, I will review anything that you guys request of me, so you can either leave your request in the comments down below, or you can contact me on Twitter and Tumblr at Professor Thorgi. Thank you very much for watching today's episode, and if you liked this video, make sure you hit that subscribe, and also make sure that you share this video. That helps out the channel more than anything, so I thank everybody who's been doing it. And if you want to check out some other videos from me, well then I'll put up last week's worst movies of the year list right there, and I'll also put up my very first rant about the Jim and the Holograms trailer. Thank you all very much for watching, and come back next time.